about Asteya, which is one of the yamas of yoga. So if you've not heard of, I'm sure all of you have, but the yamas and the niyamas are these disciplines that we cultivate within ourselves to draw out our most authentic nature, which is divine. And a lot of stuff gets in the way. And in our world, we need some kind of like structures, moral codes around us to help us navigate the challenges and pitfalls of being human. And the yamas are these kind of like universal truths or disciplines that we cultivate as a society to help us have a peaceful society and live well. And so Asteya is it's translated as not stealing, so not stealing from others, but it's a lot more complicated than just that. So I'm reading this book right now, if anyone has read it, Braiding Sweetgrass by Wallkimmer. It's a wonderful book. I love it. I love it already, and I am not all that far into it. But one of the things that the book is about indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teaching of plants. And one of the things she talks about is the differences in culture, that we in America have a culture of commodity. We buy things, we sell things, we have goods for services kinds of transactions, whereas other cultures have more of a gift culture embedded in the nature of the culture. And what happens when we offer a gift, when we share gifts with each other, there's first of all a need to both give and receive, to be able to receive well, to be able to give freely, and to not have attachments in the usual ways of now I owe you something, but rather to have an attachment with the giver and givee that is about a relationship. So when I offer a gift to you and you have gratitude to me, there's a relationship that develops, a connection that develops between us, and there's usually a reciprocal nature to gift giving. And I don't necessarily just mean giving something by hand, like a materialistic thing. So when we offer, when we are free and we release gifts into the world without expectation of things coming back to us, we cultivate abundance, and we cultivate a sense of gratitude. Abundance and gratitude is really living in this gift culture. And also this sense of restraint. When someone's offering something to you freely, like maybe a basket of food, you don't take the whole plate. You take a little bit, a spoonful of whatever's being offered. You don't take the whole platter for yourself, right? And so there's the sense of restraint that's inherently embedded in there too. So Asteya, this sense of non-stealing, is really addressing this sense of lack, that if you feel the desire to take something from someone, really our thoughts shouldn't be about preventing ourselves from doing that, kind of like the restraint of not stealing, but really we should dive deeper than that and look into what is the feeling of lack that we're experiencing. And some of the common unconscious thought patterns around that are, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough, I'm not enough, you're not enough. This lack of faith in our ability to be enough and our ability to create what we need in the world. So there's this inherent sense of lack or feeling empty in some way that needs to be filled. And a lot of this emptiness is not about materialism. It's about our longing for connection with each other, but we somehow think we can fill it by purchasing things or by hoarding things. And I had, as a hospice nurse, when I go into people's homes, I've been into a number of hoarder homes, like truly hoarder homes. And there's such a deep sense of sadness when you find that there's so much fear of lack, that there's this sense of, I have to just hold on to every little nook and cranny of what I've got. So think about these things. And someone just said the name of the book, Braiding Sweetgrass. um, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants by Robin Wallkimmer, Kimmerer. It's a wonderful book. I'm not that far into it, but it's wonderful. So close your eyes for a moment and think about your own experience of abundance and your experience of lack. You know, at what points, when you think about abundance, when you feel not just outside abundance, but when you feel abundant, when your cup runneth over, think about that for a moment. Just kind of hang out in the sensation of abundance. One of the qualities of it is that it's an expansive energy that is not contained by self. It's something that moves energetically, expansively. And then think about lack, the feeling of wanting, and the not enough, whether it's I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough health, there's not enough, fill in the blank, right? What is there not enough of? So just kind of settle into the feeling of lack and notice the shift, the difference, the huge difference between abundance and lack. So when we have a internal abundance that we can offer, it's an energy that streams through us, beyond us, and back to us. So this is really the aspect of Asteya, of non-stealing, that we can loosen the hold of our grasp of what's in our hands, let it be free, and trust that there's enough, that there's always enough. There's enough for us, there's enough for everyone. And just imagine a culture that was based upon this principle instead of the sense of not enough, that I need to keep what's mine. Imagine a society where everything is shared, that there's no quote unquote ownership. Is it triggering to you in any way to sense that or visualize that? Is it soothing to you? Does it satisfy a deep yearning in you? So, in our personal disciplines around Asteya, think today, a little yoga homework about maybe something you've borrowed from someone that you haven't returned yet, or a way in which you are using excess. Have you thrown away some food recently? Do you have too much stuff? Do you need to clean out a closet and offer things out to the world? What are some ways that you hoard? What are some ways that you feel a sense of lack, that you can cultivate abundance for yourself and for others? So let's breathe here, drop away from the thinking mind and into the body, and feel the abundance of breath, the abundance of prana, this deep sense of you have enough, you are enough. Do you feel this in your body? Do you feel that your body is enough? You have enough health. You have enough mobility. You have enough stamina. Even if it's not what you want it to be, can you sense gratitude for what is? Drop into ease somewhere. Maybe relax your face, softening your eyes. Feel the breath move through you, that it's not anything that you hold. We can even practice this aspect of Asteya in the breath itself. So try to notice when you hold your breath. See if you can let the turnaround between the inhale and the exhale happen gracefully and with ease. Try to notice the pauses between inhale and exhale and release them. Notice the pause between exhale and inhale and release. Place your palms together at your heart and bear witness to what you're sensing, feeling, and offer an intention. Okay, let's release the hands and come onto our back. So find your way into your practice, your physical practice. And as you lie down, just dissolve time. There's enough time. Dissolve expectations. What will happen will happen. And just come into the awakening in the body. Can you feel the fullness of your breath? The enjoyment of being in your body as you stretch your arms overhead and just start to wake up. And if you're working with feeling gratitude and abundance, see what it feels like to nurture your breath through your practice today, to really enjoy how it feels to breathe in and how it feels to breathe out. Bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. And feel free to circle a little bit. Circle the knees, kind of touching in with the sacrum. Get to know the back body, what's happening here today. And then let's open up the knees and bring them back toward each other. Asteya is very much, the keeping up with the Joneses. The grass is greener over there. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. So how can we stop the greed and the desire for something we don't have and instead focus on what we have? So right knee into the chest, roll out your feet, maybe extend the spine a little bit. Notice all this mobility you have. Notice this beautiful body that's working so well. You got up this morning, you're doing yoga, so therefore things are working pretty well. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Breathing deeply. Can you start to feel the difference between emptiness, which can be spacious, and lack, which can be fraught with challenge? Let's spread out the wings, stretch into your limbs, haul your breath out. Breathing deeply, open yourself out to a starfish, exhale and draw into the center. Try it one more time. Just enjoy this full body movement. Relax your head down onto the ground. Let's roll over onto our side and come up onto our hands and our knees. So start moving your body through some cat-cows once you stabilize on all fours. I get that feeling that your spine is capable of so much mobility, so much mobility. And move around any way you want. So you can swirl around in your spine, you can move your hips, you can roll around in your pelvis or your head. Just enjoy, notice how your body has some deep level of freedom just here. All right, take the right forearm down onto the ground and lift the left arm up. And just feel that opening. Exhale, switch sides. Other forearm down, lift up. Just feeling a little awakening in the back of the body. Exhale one more time. This time the arm comes up. And we're gonna thread the needle, pull it through, feeling a twist. Relax your head down toward the floor. Breathe. So as the breath gets a little tighter when you're twisting, can you still feel that there's enough? Relax. All right, inhale, reach that arm all the way back up to the sky. Change sides, hand down, arm up, big breath. Exhale, twist deeply here. Thigh bones back, a little weight into the hand on the ground so you can anchor into the twist. Relax the shoulders and your neck, gaze toward the floor instead of up toward the sky. Let your breath take you deeper into the sensations of the posture. And then inhale, reach that arm up. Place the hand down onto the ground, dog pose. Feel a deep reaching through your spine here. Lengthen, root down through four corners of hands. Notice if you land in the outer hands. See if you can land in the whole four corners of your palm. Same with your feet. Do you like to live in the outer feet or the inner feet or your right foot or your left foot? See if you can spread across the balls of your toes evenly. Relax your neck. And are you moving? Are you still? Kind of what's available in this posture? It's just our beginning. Wake up the whole back body. Stretch your heels back toward the wall behind you and lift your sit bones high as you drop your heels down. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold a little bit, relax your head, bobble it about. Okay, feel free to wag your tail, shake your shoulders, relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine is growing. Exhale and melt and fold again. Relax your head. Grab on behind your head at the base of your hands and just give a little tug so you can feel the whole back line of the body stretch open. The knees are bent. And then release the head. Inhale, halfway lift again. Exhale and melt. Drop your hips, rise up. Coming to stand, reaching the arms to the sky, lean back if it feels good, open things up. Let's cactus open the chest, enjoy the open heart, and then release the hands, shake them out. And one more time, arms up, cactus open the chest, and then release the hands down and give them a good shake. All right, shake the body a little bit. You can jump if you want. You don't have to jump. You can just bounce. Just get some energy moving through your bones. Find your breath. Let your arms be loose. Inhaling. Exhaling. All right. Steady. Rise up. Take a deep breath. Exhale and float forward. Let your head relax. Inhale for a halfway lift. Spine grows again. Exhale and melt back down. Step your left foot back, right foot comes forward, coming into a lunge. Let's move through our breaths. So squaring the hips and straightening the leg and then bending the knee. So just go in your range that's available to you. You don't have to have a full straight leg. Just find what's available. Move with your breath. So let's try to keep the breath as our guiding light of flow. Even if we're still in the body, flow the breath. So notice the places where you tend to hoard breathing, where we tend to kind of grip and get tight, restrained in the body. Okay, let's put the back knee down onto the ground. Open up through your hip flexors a little bit more. Hands on blocks if they're not already there. To feel the awakening in the front of that hip. And then lift your back knee up off the ground. Ground your lunge. Rise up. Bring your arms anywhere you want them to be so that you feel the sense of space, awakening, opening. So find the abundance. Open your heart. Offer some things out. So keep spreading your joy. So even if you don't feel joyful, spread what you do feel. So let things out. See if you can expand through your heart. Find that sense of giving outward to the world instead of just holding it in. Okay. All right, let's twist to the side, open the chest, drop the shoulders. Start to let the back knee bend a little tiny bit if you want so that your pelvis stays in a neutral place. And then rise back up. Place the hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Fold in half. Relax your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt. So the gifts that we give out to the world don't always have to be just the good gifts, right? Perhaps you want to share a little bit of your burdens too. So let things flow instead of getting stuck. All right, so let's bend and straighten your knee. There's so many ways that we can think about not stealing from self or others. How about stealing attention away from other people? Stealing their words right out of their mouth by finishing sentences for people, cutting people off. Let's ground into a lunge here. Put your knee down onto the ground, open your hip. That back hip, drop the shoulders. How about not stealing people's time? You know, kind of sensing when somebody's ready for a conversation to end, sensing people's need to leave a conversation if they're late. How about being on time yourself and not delaying other people? Okay, so let's rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. And then also remember this gift of abundance. If you need somebody, can you ask for that attention? Can you ask for that support? Can you ask for that time? Breathing deeply. So don't steal from yourself either. So gifting is a two-way street. It's not just I give, and I never ask. Breathing well. Let's twist over to the side. Find your breath. You can soften the back knee a little bit. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. Feel the midline. Are you happy to be in your body right now? Okay, let's rise back up. Hands coming down to the ground. Step your front foot back. Dog pose. Enjoy the breath. Now let's stop thinking so much and just come into the body. Breathe well. Inhaling. Breathe well. Exhaling. Stay inside the feeling of your breath as much as you can. Feel the flow of prana. Come into a plank. This is often where we get a little stuck, we get a little hoarding. So see if you can harness strength and still flow. How, right? Can you feel your breath still move? Let your ribs move out to the sides. Yield, feel the earth give you something. Give something back to the earth. All right, let's put the knees down onto the ground and find your way to the floor. Roll your shoulders a few times. And take a deep breath. Open up, cobra pose. Exhale. This is a great place to notice if you hold breath. A lot of times we hold at the top of a cobra pose. See if you can let the exhale come. One more time, rising up on the inhale. And just as easily lowering down on the exhale. Come up onto all fours, move the spine around. Breathing deeply. And stretch back to child's pose. Soften the hips toward the heels. Relax your forehead. Rest down. Walk the hands over to one side or the other and feel the side body stretch and lengthen. Relax your neck. And then come back to center and go over to the other side. Base of the skull is soft. There's nothing to hold. See if you can teach the back of the neck to not hold so much. Just release and let go. Okay, coming back to center, up onto all fours. Okay, find a cat-cow, move and breathe. Eventually turn this into dog pose. And as we come around to dog poses after the first one or two, how is it feeling?
Are you able to really ground and feel that deep connection of yield and rebound? Feel the exchange of energy with the ground itself. Walk your feet forward, come into Uttanasana, and then rise up. If you're dizzy, squeeze to the midline. Find your breath here. Inhale, arms coming up. Let's cross right arm over left arm, eagle arms. Drop the shoulders. Okay, feel that stretch across the tops of the shoulders. Lift the elbows and move them just a little bit away from the chest, just a little bit. Find that sense of a stretch in the back of the body, top of the shoulders. We're going to add the legs to us because the right arm is on top. We're going to put the left leg on top. So stand on your right leg, and you can always come to a wall and stick your butt against a wall if you need it for this pose. You can wrap your foot around, or you can dangle your foot to the outside of the shin. Square everything to the front. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Breathe deeply. Let your side ribs expand as you inhale. Let your full exhale go. And then unwind. Feel the expanse, the release. Open things up. And then relax. Tuck your chin toward your chest and pause for a moment. And now bring the left arm over the right arm. Shoulders come down, elbows come up just a bit. Bring the elbows away from the chest so that we feel that stretch across the supraspinatus. This is kind of a tricky muscle to stretch, so enjoy. Okay, drop down into your left foot. Drop your right foot over your left, or right leg over your left, and squeeze your thighs. Squeeze your elbows, squeeze your thighs. Square to the front of your mat. Lift your chest, let your breath touch into the side ribs. We're not holding our breath. We're squeezing, but we're not holding our breath. Spread out your feet, spread out your hands. And then unwind the posture. Feel that expansive flow. Like unkinking a garden hose, let things flow. Release your hands down at your sides. Pause for a moment, tuck your chin toward your chest. Sometimes the squeeze and release can mess with our blood pressure, so let's just pause here for a moment. And then we're going to turn sideways when you're ready onto your mat. Turn your toes slightly out. Actually, let's start with just a squat. So come a little closer with your legs. You can put your elbows on top of your knees. Your hips can be higher than your knees. Your hips can be in line with your knees. Try not to let your hips go lower than your knees. And just feel into a squat. Okay. Elbows can be on top of the knees or inside. Palms may reach each other. Find your breath. Ground into the earth. Push into the earth with your feet. Extend through the spine. Get the hips to engage in that deep flexion. Do you have balance between the two sides of your pelvis? And then rise all the way up. One more time, open things up. Now, some of the postures we're going to do today might mess with your blood pressure. So if you know that this is true, always remember that you can come back and squeeze your legs, and you can squeeze your hands to each other. You can tuck your chin. There's lots of things you can do. If you squeeze to the midline, it will lift your blood pressure back up. So if you get dizzy with any of this, pause and do that. All right, so toes are turning out. And we're just going to first just go from side to side. You can put your hands on your knees to kind of gently move our way into some depth with our pelvis and our hip joints here. Okay, so just kind of rocking back and forth between your two sides. And we're going to go a little bit more deeply into one side. So bend your knee if you're available to do so. Straighten out your other leg. We're going to do both. So whichever way you went first is fine. Open the chest. Full inhales and exhales. Come over to the other side. Notice if your knee has flexibility to do this, your hip, there's a lot of range of motion available. So it doesn't have to be all the way down. You can be higher. Stretch through your inner thigh of your other leg, your straight leg. Okay. And then come back. And now we're in a deeper, wider squat with our torso parallel to the floor. Take your forearms to the shins and open them up. Just stretch your inner thighs here a little bit. All right. Go ahead and come on up to stand. Bring your feet back together. We're going to go back out there in a moment, but let's do a chair pose. Hug into the midline. You can always choose a different variation and put a block between your thighs if that helps you stabilize your knees a little bit better. You can also put your butt against a wall or a piece of furniture. Okay, rise up with your arms. Find your breath. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, we're going to lower our body down a little bit. And then inhale, come up onto the toes. I'm going to take the block out for this variation, but you do you, block or no block. Up onto the toes, heels down, arms back. Heels down. Now try not to hold the inhale. So when we come up onto our tippy toes, return to the exhale. All right, the next time you get up there onto your tippy toes, we're going to stay up there. So up onto your toes. Don't worry if your balance starts to get a little away from you. The worst thing that's going to happen is your heels are going to come down. Find your breathing. And then slowly find your way to chair pose. Now you can put your arms wherever serves your body best. So perhaps you're better off with your hands here at your heart, maybe arms out or back or up overhead. Start to feel into the work that you're not just making the quads work, we're sharing. Drop weight into your heels, press the heels so you work the glutes and the hamstrings just as evenly as the quads. Hug a block or an imaginary block, and then pull your feet apart. Maybe even put your hands on the inner knees and press so that you have that sense that your outer hips, your inner thighs, your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, everything's working for the posture. Don't hoard the breath, let it go. And then rise on up, open the chest, exhale, and release. Jump, hop. You don't have to jump, you can just bounce. Just let movement happen, let your breath happen. And then we're going to come back to a wide stance on the long edge of our mats. So moving through some goddesses here. Big open breath, expand. Receive, give, receive, give. Deep breath in, exhale, goddess pose, palms together. If this makes you dizzy, you can just be still in goddess pose. Anything you want with your arms. Next one, we're going to stay. So decide where you want your arms to be. We're going to hang out in a goddess posture, anything that supports with your upper body. Feel the sense of space, that your upper body is relaxed. You don't have to hold anything. The breath is moving through you. The earth receives you. Let your feet ground. Feel the corners of the four corners of your feet, root them, and then lift through your spine. There's enough energy. There's enough right here. There's enough to do this. Open your chest, relax your shoulders, breathing well. It's all about the breath. Rise up. We're going to bend the right knee, place the elbow on the knee, and stretch the arm open. Parsvakonasana. Enjoy all the space you have on the side of your body. Breathing into it. Ground through your feet. We won't stay here as long. Shoulders are away from the ears. And then rise up. And let's just turn right to the other side. So fill your breath. The breath is the abundance right here. So even if you feel your energy wane, you're like, oh, I just want to get out of the posture, feed yourself the abundant prana of your breath. Let it go. Relax the shoulders. Deep inhale, deep exhale. See if you can feel free. What's not free in your body right now? All right, rise up. Let's turn toward the front of our mat and come back to dog pose. So bring legs back behind the back edge of the mat and feel the deep inner sense of renewal that happens through dog pose. Relax your head, root into the index finger mounds. Try not to lean into the outer hands. Relax your neck. Come forward into a plank. Here's another pose that we often can get kind of stuck. Where's the pranic flow? Put the knees down and come back to child's pose. Just let the hips drop back. Nourish the thighs for a moment. Just let them have a good squeeze. Deep breath in. Exhale fully. Come up onto your shins. Lifting the arms to the sky. Open breath. Exhale. Release back down. Arms up. Gather it in. Exhale. Come back down. Rest for a moment. Kind of restore yourself. So there's a big difference between taking an opportunity to restore energy, renew energy, versus just get stuck where nope, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to expend anything. Okay, so how much do we fear expending our energy for fear of lack of energy? Often, if we practice well and we breathe well, we gain, we renew, we restore our energy. All right, let's come up, laying down on our belly, roll the shoulders a few times. Okay. And then inhale and rise up to cobra. Let that breath out. And then come up onto all fours again. Move the spine around. Breathing well. And then find your way back up to dog pose. Find the flow of your breath. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Lift the right leg up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot through. Turn and open up to the side. Virabhadrasana 2 now. Find your breath. Relax. Feel a sense of space. Now, when you come into various poses, do you have days where you kind of don't fully color in all the lines? Or do you have moments in your practice where you're just kind of holding your arms up, but there's not like an enlivening all the way to your fingertips? So let's fill in the blanks all the way through your body, like color all the way in, okay? So that every part of you is engaged for this posture. Seek a place that maybe isn't committed to full engagement and bring yourself there. Just bring yourself there. Open the heart, stretch to your fingertips, drop the shoulders, root into the feet. Find any little nook and cranny of your body that's just a little absent from the posture and bring it online. Okay, and then reach the arm up, find your breath, straighten your leg, and find Trikonasana, triangle pose. You can have your hand on a block or on your leg somewhere or the floor if you get there. All right, so same thing. Where in the body are you not fully present? A lot of times we think we're conserving energy by kind of hiding from effort. But really, the more we engage, the more we bring our breath, the more we bring fullness to our experience, we actually become more abundant in our energy. So feel this. When you bring everything online, do you feel more alive? All right, let's go ahead and relax that. We're going to go right backwards through those poses. So triangle pose first on the other side. Bring your left foot out, bend at your hips, not at your waist. So we don't want the pose to look like this. We want to bend from the pelvis. We're rooting our femur bone deep up into our hip joint. The knee is soft without hyperextension. Find yourself in the posture. Drop the shoulders. So notice the difference between when you're just kind of laying on the earth with your feet versus engaging with the earth with your feet. Feel the difference in your body of, kind of laziness we sometimes think is a way of restoring energy, but it's really not. It's actually requires energy sometimes to be lazy. We get inertia is a sense of energy hoarding. So drop the shoulders, open the chest, find that sense of space. Bring yourself into aliveness all the way to your fingers, all the way to your crown, all the way to your tail, all the way to your feet. And notice is energy moving more now than when your body is at inertia. Okay? Just notice the subtleties. Okay, find your way up, bend your knee, reverse your warrior, open things up. And then find your way into Virabhadrasana. So try not to lose what's offline. See if you can bring everything online. And that might mean adjusting something. It might mean bringing your arms in a different place or coming less deep in the posture. What's going to allow you to be fully in, okay, fully present and accounted for. Every nook and cranny of you. Drop energy into your feet. Press into the earth. Rebound through the crown, through the whole spine. Relax the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades. Breathe deeply into the rib cage. Feel the muscles all around your pelvis. Stretch from your sternum to your fingertips. Hug your triceps up onto the bones. All right, let's go ahead and find our way out. Turn your feet to the long edge of the mat and come back down. So we're resting here. Head comes down toward the floor. Maybe your hands are on the ground. Maybe your hands are on a block. See what it feels like to have that sense of peace and ease. Breathing deeply. Remember, we're not hoarding the breath. We're letting it move and flow through us. Let your diaphragm, because you're face down, your diaphragm's a little looser. Let your diaphragm relax. All right, let's come back to the front of our mat. Last time through a vinyasa, take your hands onto the front, your feet onto the back, dog pose. Deep breaths here. Roots, the same thing. Can feel lazy in the pose. Do the least minimum necessary to hold yourself in space. And just notice, does this feel abundant or enlivening? Does it feel reciprocal with the energy received from the earth? And then instead, engage. Root into the earth with hands and feet. Rise through the spine. Feel the grounding. Feel the sense of engagement. Relax the neck. Fully breathe. And notice now, does it feel like you are connected, that you have enough, that you're engaged? Do you have a relationship with the ground? Okay, let's come forward. Stabilize yourself into a plank. Try not to hold your breath. Let it flow through you. Shoulder blades drop down the back. Collarbones broaden. Front and back body marry each other in support. Okay, you can put your knees down to come to the floor or just find the floor. Any back bend of your choice. It does not have to be a cobra pose. Full back body engagement, full breath. Let the breath, as you stay in the posture, let the breath come in, let the breath come out. And then relax. Put your hands underneath your head. Pick up your feet and let your legs windshield wiper left and right. All right, we're gonna go roll right over onto our right side. Bring the knees toward the chest a little bit, not all the way, but just at least so that your hips are bent. Okay, and we're gonna grab onto the top of your left ankle and stretch that knee away. So we're doing a quad stretch here. Open up, find your breath. Breathing deeply in, letting your exhale come. Try not to hold the breath. Tailbone moves toward the knee in the air. Pubic bone lifts up toward the belly button. And then we're going to release. Roll over onto your side or your belly, however you get to the other side. Bend your knees, bend your hips. And we're going to grab onto the top leg, right at the top of the ankle. So pull that right foot, right knee back. So we're engaging our core a bit so that we're not just slacking into the ground. So same idea here, full engagement in the body. Give yourself to the pose. Drop your tailbone toward the knee, bring your knee toward, bring your pubic bone toward your belly button. Stretch your knee away. Try to keep the knee in line with the hip instead of lifting it toward the sky. When we fully commit to being present in our practice, we are receiving. We are receiving prana, we're receiving energy. All right, let's go ahead and come on to our back. Pause here for a moment, heels close in. Okay. We're going to bring a block. We're going to do this passively now. So bring a block on the lowest height underneath your pelvis. I'm going to show this from the side. We're going to stretch our hip flexors here for a moment. If you feel very open and you want to put the block at a little bit higher height, that's okay. Just don't put it at the super high height. You can stretch right leg only. Heel down onto the ground. Now, it might be comfortable to just have your left foot planted. It might be comfortable to bring your left knee up toward your chest and interlace your fingers on your shin or behind your thigh. You go where your body says go. You can also use a strap. Notice your leg on the ground, stretch it. You can play with a little internal and external rotation. So point the toes out, point the toes in, just let your psoas muscle get a little bit of release. And then put that left foot down if it was up and put 2 feet on the ground next to each other. Take a breath. Did we forget about our breath for a little bit? So whenever you kind of realize you've forgotten your breath, just pause and breathe and bring yourself back home. And then left leg is straightening out, heel is on the ground. Maybe this is enough stretch for your psoas, maybe your back is comfortable here. If you have more to offer the pose and you do not have to have more to offer the pose, you can bring your right knee up. Okay, so sometimes if you can bring it just a little bit up, you can take the other block and put it underneath your foot so that you're just a little bit elevated off the floor, but not all the way with your knee toward your chest. So find what's right. If you bring your knee in and you get all contorted in your pelvis, then go ahead and release that and let it go. We want to have some balance across our pelvis. And now try a little internal and external rotation of that foot. Try to let it really be of the femur bone. The foot is just, kind of where we notice the turn, but we don't want to move from our ankle. We want to move from our femur bone high in the hip joint, turning it out a little, turning it in a little. All right, now put that right foot down, check in, see how you are. You might be done, in which case bring your knees to your chest. You might have a little bit more to offer, in which case 2 legs come down. You might need to adjust the block a little bit. 2 legs come down on the ground. So heels down, maybe you stretch your arms too. Big belly breath. We're going to put the feet down onto the ground and draw the knees toward the chest. A little bit of traction for your lumbar spine. Just be here now for just a moment. We are going to lift our legs, but first just knees to chest. Let the back bend release itself. And then legs straight up in the air. Okay, feel the weight. Your femur bones are dropping down into the pelvis, grounding your pelvis on the block. We're giving the gift we're giving a gift to our cardiovascular system right now, kind of lessening the load of the work to bring the blood back toward the heart, as well as your lymph. We're giving a little break, a little support and assistance to the flow of lymph moving back toward your thoracic duct and your, right at your collarbones, the two sides where the lymph vessels meet up with the cardiovascular vessels. Relax your neck and shoulders. Okay, you have a couple of choices here. We're going to stretch our hips in one of three ways. You can keep the block and cross thigh over thigh, kind of like those eagle legs we did earlier, and just stretch the knees to the chest. You can come off the block and do that same thing, knees stretching to the chest. You can come into reverse pigeon pose, right foot on left knee, bring the knees to the chest. I guess there's four choices. You can roll out of here and come into pigeon pose. So your favorite way of stretching your hips. Okay, so just choose what's available and correct for this moment. All right, so find your way, whatever you're doing, we're resting. So now's not the time for feeling that you have to engage everywhere. Now's the time to be aware of everywhere, to notice every sensation you're feeling. So widen the sit bones, relax the base of the skull, feel the subtleties of your breath. You're ready to come out of that side. Let's bring ourselves to the second side. So there's no rush. If you're like, no, I want to stay a little longer, then stay a little longer. I think one of the most beautiful aspects of Zoom yoga is that you're in your home or wherever you are, and most likely by yourself or with your partner, and you get to do you. You can diverge off the path anywhere you want. So ultimately, the best yoga practice is one that's internally guided, the one that is really coming from within, that the intuitive nature of asking the mind, body, spirit what it needs today and following is the best practice. So take advantage of the fact that you can do what you want, that you're not going to disrupt class by, getting up and doing a handstand or something. There's anything is possible. My suggestions are just that. They're just one path. They're not the only path. Feel your sensations. Be in your body fully. Be in your breath fully. Go ahead and find our way, when you're ready, out of the posture. A simple twist before we lay in Shavasana. Pick up the hips, move them right, knees up, drop them left. Open the breath. Turn your head. Now pick up your knees. Scoot your hips over to the other side, knees toward your chest and drop them over. Support yourself any way you need. Turn your head in opposition of your knees. Breathe well. Come back to center, and now it's time to give yourself completely over. Can you lay your body down on the ground and let it be a gift to the earth? Let the earth receive your energy. Scan your body, maybe start at the crown and work your way down to make sure that you're not hoarding tension. A lot of times when we tense up somewhere, we're preparing for some sort of need for that tension. There's no need for any tension right now. So teach your body it's okay to relax. All around your skull, all around your face. Pay attention to the spots you know get tense on you or in you. Allow your limbs to get really heavy, so there's no need to be active right now. We're not going and doing, we're just being, we get to rest. Melt into the sensation of your breath, the rise, the fall. Taking it in and letting it go.
begin to deepen. Breathing again. And let's feel our body begin to move, however is best for you, or how you like to come out of Shavasana. Move slowly as you transition your way. As you come to a seat, let's once again feel into the sensation of abundance. I am enough. I have enough. I have enough to give. Feel into the freedom that abundance and gratitude offer. Feel into the connection of offering, of sharing abundance. And share your energy right now with another person. Send forth your care and just share some of your energy. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Blessings on the day.